easy go.
What's going on, guys? DFS War Strike here, and I'm back, and I'm joined again by the golf guru, Greg. Greg, what's going on, man?
Man, I'm just happy to be back. Week 2 with War Strike and the golf guru, man.
Yeah, we had a very big week last week at the Rocket Mortgage. Cameron Davis came through for us. I know we talked highly about him last week in the video, and it seemed like a lot of people had a lot of success with a lot of the plays that we were talking about, especially with Davis. I know another one, Neiman was high. That's somebody that you talked about. He's one of your locks, especially. Neiman was a very high play for both of us as well. Rocket Mortgage was a very swell week for us, I think.
Oh yeah, had a lot of fun, man. It was awesome to watch the playoff. Sucks that Neiman goes 72 holes without a bogey.
And the bogey in the first playoff round. That was killer, dude. I couldn't believe that. I was like, dude, for somebody to play that good, probably played the best golf out of anybody out there all weekend, and then just one hole just ruined the whole thing for him.
Oh yeah, and it's crazy. You go back and think about it. Davis went eagle birdie to finish his round because he was 15 under through 16 holes.
Yeah,
chips in from
the sand, the bunker.
Yeah, holes out
that
from
was
there,
a shot.
And then birdie's 18. It's like, dude, that's clutch, man. And usually, I mean, I don't really. Before then, I hadn't really thought of Davis as a clutch player. Yeah, I had him in another tournament. I can't remember what it was. Maybe.
Well, I mean, how could you? It was the first one he won, so you can't really.
Months ago, he was in contention though a couple months ago, and he spit it out. I don't know what tournament it was. I can't remember.
But I can't remember.
Yeah, I had him that time, and I was like, oh, dude, Davis, not clutch, but man, he really proved me wrong. I didn't think he had it in him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I kind of think he was asking to lose with the missed putts towards the end in the playoff. I mean, he was hitting it bad, dude. Like the putts were just not there for him, but surprisingly they weren't there for Troy either.
You could tell he was nervous with his putts because he was hitting the ball well. I mean, he's a great ball striker. Putting, that was rough.
Yeah. So now we got a little bit different field, John Deere tournament. How are you feeling about this one to start with?
I did a lot of research yesterday, and something that I'm gonna kind of give everyone my idea of what I think is the right move this week. And, it's just an idea, just how I'm going to go about my business. And really what it is I'm going to target this week playing a lot of guys who aren't playing the major next week. So there's certain guys that are like, Berger, Harmon, a couple of the top guys. Those guys are all playing next week. And the problem is, they're going to go from, let's say they make the cut, all 4 days. Tournament gets done Sunday. They fly out maybe Sunday night, Monday morning. They get to the UK, late Monday, Tuesday. They're only going to have a couple days to warm up over there. So really, they're going to have to pick and choose. If they're not playing well, they might just miss the cut to fly out and, go to the UK and start warming up over there, get ready for a major. I mean, that's a more important tournament at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So that's really something I'm thinking about.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. That is a very good logic to have into this weekend. But okay, guys, so like, comment, subscribe to the channel. I'll post my Twitter link below. Also, Greg's Twitter link will be posted below along with his website, so you can get all of his favorite plays and everything like that. Typically here, if you're new to the channel, we go through each tier pricing list and we kind of just give out a couple favorite plays that we have. But other than that, there's nothing else really to say. Let's get right to it. We'll start with the 10 plus. And who you feeling, Greg?
Perfect. I know we're going to agree on this one. And I'm going to make a pretty bold statement. I don't do this often. I did this with Nate Lashley at Pebble Beach. I did this with Bryson at the Arnold Palmer. Sungjae Im is going to win the John Deere Classic 2021. Mark it down. Put it in your notes. This guy, he's the man. He has exactly what it takes to win. I'll break down the numbers real quick. I know I ran my custom model. He ranked out 5th, which was pretty good in my eyes. We'll break down a couple of numbers for you real quick. Let me pull him up because I had Zach Johnson pulled up, who I'm sure we'll get to later. So let's talk a little bit about Sungjae. He gained off the tee last week at the Rocket Mortgage, gained an approach. Ball striking was good. Around the green was good. His putting, he was pretty much an even putter. Didn't really gain too much. However, he putts well on bent grass. I really like what Sungjae has to offer this week. His driving accuracy is something that I am looking at, which we will get to in a second. I had that pulled up too, and I lost it. But Sungjae, one of the more accurate drivers on tour. He's probably, in my opinion, either the first or second best player in this field, arguably behind Berger. And yeah, other than that, man, Sungjae, this is a weaker field. So we have to take that into account. He's also not playing next week. I don't know, for those of you that heard, him and Siwoo Kim withdrew from next week's tournament to focus on the Olympics, actually.
Yep.
So, I think he's going to hone in this week. He's going to play really well. I just think he's got what it takes this week to really win this tournament. Real quick, I'll give you a couple numbers from Sungjae. Driving accuracy is about 70%, ranks 13th on tour, probably first or second in this field. Off the tee, really good. He's got a good birdie average. Everything just, sounds good with Sungjae. So,
yeah. No, I mean, this was somebody that was in our conversation last week, and I think last week was kind of like the test week for him, for us to believe in him or not. And I mean, I think he came out, like you said before. I mean, putting was decent, but bent grass, he'll have the advantage now. And then everything else, he was kind of just smacking the ball everywhere. It was great. It was a good weekend for him. Finished 8th overall. And you can see right here, he finished with over 100 fantasy points too, which, I mean, I think it was, like I just said, it was the test weekend for us to see if we believe in him or not. And he came through for us. And now when he's in a weaker field, I don't really see anybody else that can stop him going through it. So somebody that I like here is Brian Harmon. I do expect him to kind of be chalky going into this week. But one thing that I do like about him is mainly the last, 2 or 3 months, he's had a 5th place, 19th, 8th, 18th, 13th, 12th. So 6 out of his last 7 have been top 20 finishes. He putted really well when we last saw him at Travelers. He gained 6.6 strokes. So I do think that he is an advantage here. If you guys wanted to maybe get away from Berger, or Cam Davis is probably going to be a little bit chalky coming off the win. But other than that, I like those two. Those will probably be the only two that I really have a lot of exposure to going in through this weekend. But other than that, for me, Cam Davis is a fade, just mainly because I don't play people that win back to back. It's very unlikely. So I don't think that he's gonna win this tournament. He may place well, he may be fine, he may be a top 5 finish, whatever he is. I'm just not gonna pay for it. So, but that's my opinion with Cam.
Yeah, I agree. No, and this week, like I said, I'm looking more at accuracy with driving instead of distance. Cam is more of a distance guy, not as accurate. Same thing I would say a little bit with Berger. I just, I like Berger, but his price, it's tough to get to. It's almost the same thing as Bryson with last week. Just such a tough price. You really need him to win or get like top 3 or 4,
Yeah, no, I agree. I know on my custom model, speaking of your accuracy, the fairways gained was a pretty big thing for me. The GIR gain was a big thing for me as well. And it's just really that approach and putting. That was like my biggest things going into this whole week. But all right, going down to the 9K range, who you liking?
Yeah, 9K, there's a couple of good plays. I think Russell Henley is worth a look. I'm not really sold on him yet. I don't know quite how much exposure I'll have to him. I know he got second here in 2019. He shot like 10 under in round 4 and finished a stroke or 2 behind Dylan Fratelli. That was 2019, but he could be a play. He's had a good stretch of golf. You see right there, he had a 13th at the US Open, a 19th at the Travelers. He hits the ball really well. Everyone knows him for his approach game. He hits the ball fairly straight. So this is definitely a guy that'll probably work his way into a couple of my lineups. I'm not going to be overexposed on Henley, but I'll definitely have some Russell Henley shares. And another guy at 9K, I'm looking at Seamus Power. We talked a little bit about him pre-show. The guy is just playing out of his mind right now. See right there, he's got a bunch of top finishes. I mean, this guy, he's hitting the ball straight. He's putting really well. This is just a guy whose game is on point. And, I've heard it this week so far. We're never going to see him at this price again. 9,000 for a guy named Seamus Pryor. I don't remember the last time I saw him above. Usually he's like a 6 or a low 7,000 player. You know what I mean? So this is
last week he was around 8K. And
is he that high?
I think so. I think he was like 8,200, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay,
but
maybe
he came in pretty late because he was one of the people that came in after the withdrawals, right?
Let me check right now. I think I can pull up his.
Yeah, but I mean, even just adding on to what you're saying, if you guys just look at his last 4 weeks, he hasn't shot over 71 for 4, 8, 12, 16 straight rounds. So, I mean, this dude's rolling right now, especially with 4 straight top 20 finishes and 2 of them being in the top 10. I mean, he's absolutely rolling through this right now.
Oh yeah, this guy's solid. 7,500 last week. He was
75.
10% owned on DraftKings.
Okay.
And yeah, this guy is just, I mean, he's so solid right now. He's making a lot of birdies. His approach is really good right now. He's ranking 34th in the field. So, I mean, this is a guy that's not, yeah. So this is a guy who's just playing really well. Not much to it other than that, really. That's why I like him. He's in form. Sometimes, you just play guys because they're in form, they're playing well. I think with this guy, you can kind of forget the ownership. Don't worry too much about it. Mm-hmm. You just roll him out. That's my opinion.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. So one play that I want to add on to is Alex Noren. Alexander Noren played really good at Rocket Mortgage last week. Finished 4th place. His putting to me has been very good as he got 3.8, 1.1, 3.6. He missed the Palmetto cut. Mainly to me, that was just a bad approach game weekend for him, but his around the green's really good. His off the tee's been really good.
Yeah.
I think he's a solid play here. Over 100 points last week at Rocket Mortgage, a lower field. So I think he's going to be a decent play coming into this week if you guys wanted to go that route. Power was obviously one of my plays with you as well. But other than that, those 3 right there with Henley as well, those are probably going to be the only 3 I have exposure to. But other than that, that's really it for me. I'm more intrigued in the 7K and the mid 8 than anything.
Very fair. But, and yeah, going back to Noren real quick, this guy actually, he's one of the better putters on tour. He didn't really have that great of a putting week, still finished 3rd last week, right? So, this guy, I mean, the more I'm looking at him and the more we're talking about him, I think he really could contend here. So we'll see if
mine's just going to be is how much ownership is he going to have?
Yeah.
That's really, and it's kind of like, I think some of it may be able to get away only because he hasn't really played at the John Deere Classic. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's something that people will shy away from, especially when you got Power at 9K. So maybe if you're willing to spend up that $300 for a pivot or something off Power.
Yeah, you're right. Noren has yet to play here. Good call.
Yeah. So maybe that's something where people stay away from that. But I'm not really too sure what his ownership's going to be. If I had to guess, I would think it's still going to be in the teens. But other than that, that's really it for me when it comes to the 9K range.
Yeah, looking like he's going to come in about mid-teens. I definitely.
Yeah. All right, let's hit the 8Ks. What are you liking?
8K is I have a couple of guys I like, but I'm still having trouble in this range. I can't quite figure it out. I've had my finger on Doug Gim all week, but for some reason I'm thinking McNeely and then I'm thinking Glover, but I think Doug Gim definitely is the guy out of this range that I'm looking at the most. He's been playing well. He played all right last week. Didn't do too well, but he rated out pretty well on my model. Let's see. I had him.
Yeah, he came in on 22nd in mine.
I have him. Okay, I ran him. I actually have him 3rd on mine. So obviously we probably put in different metrics. You know what I mean? So no big deal. Yeah, I had him 3rd on mine. He rated out pretty well. I actually like his number at 50-1 too. I think that's a pretty solid betting number. He'll definitely be one of the guys on my bet slip. Rocket Mortgage, he actually was an even player off the tee, lost in approach, gained around the green and gained a little bit in putting, and he still
his around the green was really good.
He still finished 32. So I think this guy, he'll hit it a little bit better off the tee. He'll continue to gain strokes around the green and putting. I'm projecting around a top 15, 10 to 15 for Doug Gim this week. That's where I think he's going to end up.
Yeah. Okay. So for me, it's Zach Johnson. I think he's going to be super, super chalky, mainly because of the John Deere experience. He's had what, 8 straight cuts made? Yeah, 3, 6, 8. First place, second place, third place, fifth place. I mean, he is pretty incredible here. Like, he does really good at the John Deere Classic. Last week at Traveler, or not last week, back at the Travelers tournament, he got 25th. So I do think that he could be a solid option here. You want to talk a little bit about Zach Johnson?
My only thing is, and hey, I know we agree on most of our stuff. There is not much that me and you disagree on.
Yeah.
I just think that if his ownership creeps up to 15 plus or 20%.
Honestly, I think it's going to be the highest of the slate.
Do you really?
I really do. I mean, I just, with how much success he's had at the field as well, and with the price tag that he's at, I just see so many people jumping on him.
So in a GPP though, why not pivot off to like Glover or Lebiota for, you know, at 100 more, 100 less?
Typically we have the same idea to the point where like we do that. Like we pay, like Bryson, perfect example last week, and that just ended up being perfect. But I don't see him missing a cut and stuff like that. I see him actually placing well. I mean,
he did play well with the Travelers. Yeah.
No, he didn't. He comes into my model.
25th. He played well. 25th is good.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
like,
for 85.
You're like, yeah, that's all right.
I mean, for 8,500, that's like what I kind of expect. I guess. Like, I mean, I don't know, but I mean, his putting hasn't been crazy. So I mean, that's something to take into account for. But I mean, more or less, I'll play him in cast and anything, but I probably am going to have him in GPP and some of my lineups as well, just because I do think he's going to be good enough to get the cut and place in the top 25. A lot of it has to do with, I just think this is a super weak field too.
That's fair.
So I think, yeah, the top 25 is pretty close for him, that I think where I expect him to place this weekend. But
hey, we'll see.
Who else you throwing in 8K?
8K, oh man. We can talk about Hank Lebiota a little bit. You know, he's been playing really well. This guy, I actually thought he was going to win last week going into day 4. I think he was his odds. I think he was like 12-1 or something like that. I can't quite, or 8-1 or 12-1 going into day 4. And I actually thought he was going to win. I almost put a couple of bucks on him. But man, this guy is just on a tear, a 5th and a 4th in his last 2 weeks. I was talking to my dad earlier, and he's like, why would you not play Lebiota? He's just playing phenomenal golf right now. I've never really been a big fan just because he doesn't really hit the ball a long way. He's a shorter guy. His putting's okay, you know, but man, you know, when you're playing well, sometimes you're just playing well, and you know, you got to run out these guys up until the point of their collapse. So I think Lebiota has this one more week. After that, I think we're done. But
I mean,
I'm willing to
the last 2 weeks have been crazy for him.
Yeah.
Like, he has been on an absolute tear. Like, literally 7 of his 8 rounds were 69 or under. Like, that is a complete tear for this man. I think he's a great play going into this weekend. I also think he's going to be super chalky, especially with the performance from last weekend. I think he definitely is, especially at 8,400. Well, I definitely think he's somebody that could come in and win this tournament.
Yeah, and you know, his putting was really good. He gained a stroke and a half putting last week. He gained an approach, gained around the green, ball striking, all of it. He's 66-1 on Bovada, which is a steal. You know, you take advantage of that number now if you haven't already slapped a couple of bucks on him. You guys watching this video, I mean, for a guy that's this good to be 66-1, I think it's worth it.
Okay. All right, so that's the biggest reason why I love the 8K range. I mean, Zach Johnson, Lebiota. You can even go Gim there, because Gim's actually coming pretty good on my model now that I'm looking at it. I'm not against Troy, but I don't think he really has that good of success at John Deere Classic. Not for somebody that's 87.
And with Troy, it's like, how do you fare after losing a playoff? Because that really gets in your head, man.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
No.
tough to come
All
back
right.
from.
So moving down to the 7K, who's the first one that pops in your head?
First guy in the 7K. Let me take a look here. I know we talked about one guy. I'll let you talk about our guy that we like together after I talk about my guy, because I
Okay.
know it's your boy, so I got to let you
Yeah.
talk.
So last week I had Big O Patty is my lock of the week, and he finished pretty well. He was cheap, dropped 92 fantasy points, finished in top 15. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he was like $7,200. So they upped him a little bit more here. My biggest reason for him is he's a big putter. Last week he led the field in putting with strokes gained. That's really a huge thing when it comes into this tournament for me. He comes in 11th on my model. I really think that he's somebody that could easily place in the top 10, especially at 7,700. So, I mean, just the last 2 out of 3 weeks, he missed the Travelers, got the Rocket Mortgage, and then placed 10th at Palmetto. So I do think that he's a great play if you guys wanted to pivot off here. His biggest thing is really the tee game. That's where he lost strokes,
Mhm.
was off the tee. If he can maintain, but I do think it's a little bit different. I think the off the tee stuff should be easier this week than it was last week, in my opinion. But his approach game, he was basically even. But his putting last week was, I think, the third highest of his career, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was the third highest strokes gain in his career. So I mean, he's on it on his putter right now. If he can bring that going into this weekend, he's going to get top 10.
Yeah,
But
this guy, yeah, he just rates out too well. Honestly, if
mhm,
I had one top 20 bet, if you gave me $100 and I had to put a
mhm.
top 20 bet on anyone in the field other than Sung J M, it would probably be Pat Perez,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
this guy, he's a machine. This guy, like you
yeah,
talked about his putting. I mean, I have him over the last 24 rounds on bent grass. He ranks 12th in the field, which is phenomenal. I mean, you
mhm.
talked about it. He gained like 2.5 or some odd amount of strokes, or I think more than that putting last week. His putting is just phenomenal. If he can hit the ball straight off the tee, he might have a chance to win.
Just keep it on the fairway. Like
Yeah,
he keeps
yeah.
it on the
That's all
fairway.
really all he has to do.
Yeah, as long as he does that, which I think he has the opportunity to do it. It's just whether he does it or not.
Mhm.
I'm trying to see where he came ranked on that for me when it came to the freeways gained. So freeways gained, he actually pops in at 26 with that ranking, which isn't bad for him. If he gets that, like I mean, that's going to be great for him.
Mhm.
He comes in as the second best putter for me, but I really think he can have a big weekend here.
Oh yeah. But yeah,
He
other than Pat Perez, 7K range wise, I'm not really adamant on too many guys down here. I know
Mhm,
Steve Stricker is one of your boys. I'll let you talk about him after. I'm just going to talk about
mhm.
real quick. I think Satoshi Kodaira is worth one more shot. He missed the cut last week. He had a really bad round too. He's 7K. He's the min price in the 7K range. But the guy's playing really well. His putting is solid. I know you talked about him last week, and he
He let
really
me
let
down
you down
last
in round
week.
two.
Yeah,
I know that was rough because I was,
it was literally just to last the end, dude. Like
yeah.
just
It was like
part of
the
the
last like 6 or 7 holes, he just blew
yeah,
up.
he just collapsed. Like I don't know what he shot 5 under going into the second round. I wasn't even like
You weren't
paying
even worried
attention
about
to
him.
this man.
No.
Yeah, I wasn't even, I was paying attention to Grio. I was just like it's just one guy. I was like but then like Grio fell and just kind of stood where he was the whole day. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
that was
okay,
rough.
he's not making it. And then I see Kadora coming down, and I'm like, what are you doing? Calm down, dude. Like, just
Yeah.
relax. And I mean, he panned out great. Like the first day, especially, like he just looked really good. And I think his pricing range is worth another shot. Like, I mean,
Yeah. And
7K.
yeah.
Like, I'm with you. Like, I mean, even last week he gained 2.4 on putting. He just lost it and everything else.
And that's my
It was
thing
just
too. For
yeah,
7,000, how much better of a golfer are you going to get? This
yeah,
guy is one of the better golfers in the whole 7K range. He ranks out. I have him 4th in my model.
Mhm.
I know Rick made a video on this guy earlier. He rated out like 1 or 2 on Rick's model. And I was like, you know what? There's no reason to not give this guy one more try. He's
If
gotten
he lets
better
us
over the
down this
years.
week, though, he's on the hit list. Like
Oh
he's
yeah, no.
like
He
he
could
is
be
absolutely done.
he could be on
Yeah.
the blacklist after this. If he lets us down again, oof.
It's just like it's just rough because I mean you had a huge advantage going into round 2. You just had to be safe, just play cautious, and he just had a
An
he
even
just had a
round,
meltdown. He
puts
just
you
had a
through.
meltdown. I mean, he could even shot over. Like if you would have just shot 2 over on a course where everybody's birdieing 2 or 3 a day, it would have been fine. He just completely shot it, dude.
No, yeah,
Okay.
it really is sad because I think the average score round 2 was probably like 3 strokes under par. And
Mhm.
he was like 4 strokes over par. So it's like, come on, man, So, but I would give him one more shot. That's
I plan on it, giving him one shot just really based on his pricing, and he's a good putter. That's a big thing to
he
me.
is.
Yeah.
He is. All right, jump into your boy, man, because I want to hear what you had to say. Sell me on Stricker.
Okay, so Stricker. So last time we saw him was at PGA. Um, didn't do too well. Got 44th, but the Honda he got 13th. 68 points there. The biggest thing to me, I think his tee to green's been great. He's off the tees. In his last 5 overall, he's gaining strokes in every category, basically breaking the minimum when it comes to it. But if you go to the John Deere Classic, I mean, he's had played from 2012 to 2018, 5th place, 10th place, 11th place, 5th place. So 4 out of those 7 were top 11 finishes. He's made the cut at every year he's played at the John Deere Classic. So I mean, at that point, I think a lot of people pay attention to the cut lines, and I think that's something that is an advantage, at least to stay away from chalk. I like Striker more when it comes to cash lineups than anything, just because I do think he's safe to make the cut. When I make cash lineups, I don't really focus on who's going to win. I focus on just trying to get a 6-6 lineup that's just going to continuously get points through the weekend. If I can get that, then I'm completely sold on it. Like I think Stricker and then Zach Johnson is somebody that I build my cash lineups around with, that I start with. But I think he's safe to make it into the cut this weekend. His putting, when he's putting well, it's actually really well. It's just like, like at Honda, he had 3 strokes gained. At the Arnold Palmer, he putted well, 2.6. The Waste Management was 3.5, and then the Farmers was 2.3. But like PGA, that's what held him back, was the putting. He lost 2.4, and then the Players, he lost 1.8. But I think it's an easier course, easier field. I think he has a shot at doing something better. He actually comes in 15th in my model here. So he's ranked 14th when it comes to the putting side of it, and freeways gained, he's actually ranked 8th, which is actually surprisingly high.
Yeah, something that's really selling me on Stricker, and I don't know if those of you at home know this, but he actually just won the Bridgestone
The
Senior
Bridgestone.
Players
Yep.
Championship. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he hits the ball straight. That's 1.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good putter. That's 2. And his approach game is actually, I think, better than people realize. This guy.
He's just kind of struggled on it, really.
Yeah,
The
I'm
approach has kind of
surprised.
been
I'm
down a little
surprised
bit.
he's not above 8,000. Honestly,
Really? Yeah. I mean,
I think he should be more.
yeah, I think he's going to be a safe option coming into this week, because especially when it comes to, yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the freeways gain right now, man, and I mean, he's gone 4 straight positive. Then he went round 2 at Travelers, he went negative, but after that, it's nothing but positive to the Byron Nelson. He had it even at Palmetto, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like he gets on the fairway. If he can just get the putter going, he's set for the weekend.
Oh yeah, 7K range though. Definitely Stricker, Perez, throwing Kadira in a couple of lineups. Potentially maybe a Denny McCarthy here and there. You guys know I like McCarthy.
I was gonna ask you about McCarthy,
Yeah,
because I'm actually thinking about one thing that I'll tell you that was interesting with him.
it's just tough. McCarthy. Did you see what happened last week?
I did not.
He was inside the cut line and bogeyed 18 and missed.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Dude, I had a
Yeah,
couple people DM me and were like, dude, McCarthy just cost me. I was like,
to me with him, it's just like his tee game has been
oh, it's horrible.
it's been horrible.
I might be better than McCarthy off the tee, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just like I guess what doesn't have me sold with him, like I mean he comes actually decent in my model, but like the Travelers, he got 73rd, but he got 5 strokes putting. It's like, so why are you placing that bad? And it's just like Jesus. Like after that, it's just like, you're missing the cut because you're not gaining 5 strokes putting. Like that's why. So it's like I think it's relying too much on the putter at that point.
Oh yeah, it's totally true.
Yeah, but I mean this could be the week with the weaker field where he does something.
Very true. Yeah. I mean, I think he's one of the better players in the 7K range. So
Yeah. All right, 7K.
6K.
Or yeah, my bad, 6K. There you go.
Not much here. I'm not a huge fan of this range. We can talk a little bit about Sloan, but I'm just afraid that this guy's going to be uber chalky. He's been playing really well. The 2 times he's played here, he's had a 10th and an 18th. He gets the ball pretty well off the tee. He's not the best putter, but he was rolling them in last week, the Rocket Mortgage. The thing about Sloan that I do like is that he knows how to make birdies.
Yeah.
We can jump into his birdie or better percentage. Let's see. Let's find that out. Let's look at his birdie or better on the field. Roger Sloan. Let's see where he comes. Give me like 10 seconds. All right, let's see where Sloan is. 74th on the PGA Tour, which is actually pretty good because I'd say about 50 plus of the players ahead of him aren't even in the field this week. So birdie or better in this field, I would say he's probably a top 15, 20 guy. 6,900 is a pretty cheap cost. If you need someone 7,000 or less, pull the trigger on Sloan. I am a little bit afraid of his ownership percentage. Let's take a look at it real quick. Let's see what we have him potentially coming in. I have him actually 10+%, which just that's rough for me, to get a guy like this at 10, 11, maybe percent. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
So really a toss up at this point. And then I don't know if you even like anyone in this range, but
I guess my biggest play out of this range is probably Mark Anderson. I've seen a lot of people talk about him, but last week at the Rocket Mortgage, I know he was really well, especially putting side of it. He gained 3.7 strokes putting. So I guess the scary thing with him is his off the tee and then his recent course success, which he just needed to make the cut line at 68. He got 50th in 2017. He missed the cut in 15 and then got literally bare minimum in 2012. So he doesn't really play here that much or that consistent either. So I'm just not really sold on really anybody in 6K right now. I know he had a great weekend, and I feel like he's going to draw decent ownership for what's priced in the 6K range based off what he did last weekend. Because I mean, I know I had him in a GPP line where he wasn't even 1% owned. And then as the weekend went on, round 4 came, which I had him on the core for round 4.
Oh yeah, I saw
did
that.
really well. He went from less than 1% to over 7%. So I mean, I don't know if it's just going to increase, especially based off him shooting a 66 in round 4. So I think that he could draw more attention than what I'm liking personally, but there's not really too much attraction down here. Like you said, Sloan can be one.
And I know we have a couple of what do we call them, bombs or sleepers that we were thinking about. I know we have like one each that we can throw out from this range.
Yeah. So
you want to give yours or what?
Do you want to say JB Holmes again or no?
No. I was gonna say Mr. Brian Gay.
Oh, okay.
6,200. This guy, he missed the cut last week. He shot 75, 71. He was +2. I'm not now real quick. I'm not telling you guys to roster him at
Oh,
all because if you right there, I know you're laughing because it just says a bunch of
it
cuts.
just says cut everywhere.
Hey, I'm
What,
serious though. This
what
is a
even came
guy.
up with
Hey, he's won before, man. Do not knock Mr. Gay.
it? Okay.
This guy can play well. He lost like 4 strokes putting last week. And if he can putt well, which I think he will, he's gonna make the cut. I'm telling you.
Okay. Okay. I'm not gonna
No,
argue. I'm
no,
trying to see. I'm trying to see what he comes in my model because
you're not liking this. You're not liking my sleeper play.
no, if he makes it though, I mean, congrats for you for spotting that out because I ain't spotting that. I'm not playing somebody that has a whole list of cuts. But
Oh
okay,
yeah.
so mine is really just based off honestly, what does he look like? Because I know I had him in round 4 too last week.
Oh, Mr. Tway.
He's actually not that bad.
No, yeah, he played really well last week.
Yeah, I know he played really well, but I mean, that's 6,300. He's gained strokes putting in 3 straight. Around the greens actually been really promising for him. His approach has been off. His off the tee was good last week. I don't know his. I didn't really look too much into him to be honest. So he missed the cut in 2019. He got 50th in 18, 12th in 2017, and then 52nd in 14. He's honestly probably not that bad if somebody wants to take a shot with him.
I'm not against it.
Yeah, but I guess I'll talk about the main one that I was going to. I just saw Kevin Tway and wanted to see that. So JJ is
JJ.
somebody. Notice he doesn't have all the cuts. That's one. So that is avoided. But so for me, he was really big last week in putting, especially. I can't remember. I think I know he was high in the field when it came to the putting. I just can't remember where he placed in strokes gained putting when it came to that. But with his price tag, somebody that you need to make the cut, if he can just roll with the putter like he did last week, I think you guys are going to be fine with him. His off the tee is really good, so I expect him to do fine there. I guess something to worry about with him is his around the green. His short game's really weak when it comes to that stuff. His approach game's fairly not that good either. But he would probably be my play if you had to jump down to something that low. Just because I'm about to, as I'm talking, I'm trying to figure out where he placed. He was 10th when it came to putting. So in the top 10 in putting, if you wanted to go that route, especially if he lands within 15 feet or under, he gains strokes through there. But this will be probably my dart play for you guys to play. Um, yeah, it's just rolling the dice with him keeping that putter going into the next week. If he can just do that, I think he's fine. But that's really it for me. You got anybody else?
No, not at all.
So
Not in the
so
6K range.
what are your thoughts on JJ? I see your look. I want to know what you think of JJ.
I've just never been a JJ Spawn fan. I don't.
Yeah, and I'm not either, but I'm trying to like one. I don't think anybody's gonna have this dude in his lineup, to
Oh
be
no,
honest
no,
with
no.
you.
It's
So it's like if he can just slide past that cut line
yeah.
and then somehow manage to get you 60 to 75 points going into the weekend, like I think especially, I mean, he did really good with the putter.
It's just so tough for me. These guys in the 6K range, like they're just not
Yeah,
good.
they're hard. Yeah, and I mean the field's weak to begin with, so. But I mean, somebody from the 6K range is gonna make it.
I mean,
Somebody's gonna make the cut.
I would love to say play like Rafa Cabrera Bello. Maybe he's
Hmm.
like the best player in the 6K range. He probably
How much
is.
is he?
6,900.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe he's the best golfer in this range, but he hasn't really been playing that well.
yeah,
I really don't know. I'd love to say go back to JB Holmes, but he really let me down in
yeah.
round two.
We were both high on him.
Dude, that was what was he do round two, man? What were we
Yeah,
doing? Played so
He
well
played
round one. I
really
thought he was going to
69 in
replicate
round
it.
one. Yeah.
Gosh.
One, I guess we didn't mention him, was Gomez.
Oh yeah, you liked Gomez.
Yeah, Gomez, I'm actually like not against this week. I mean, 14th last week. The US Open, I know he had a strong start, but after that it kind of just derailed for him. But I think last week he was top five in when it came to putting with him. So I don't think he's a bad play. If you guys wanted to go to him this week at 6,500, that's another, low ownership play that you guys can have that has a good putter as of late. So I do like Gomez if you guys wanted to go with him. I think he has a decent shot of making the cut, especially if he plays like last week. But yeah, other than that, those are probably going to be the only people I even touch in the 6K range. It's just a super weak field, and it's hard to get a feel for which golfer is going to do good in the 6K range, in my opinion, considering how bad they are too. But 20 birdies last week, I think, is something that's noticeable
Oh,
that you
yeah,
could throw with Gomez. But other than that, that's the 6K. I think it's more or less me just trying to ride a hot hand going into this week.
yeah.
So, but other than that, that's really it for me with my plays in the 6K.
Same, man. I'm having trouble in that range. I think
Yeah.
7K, there's a good amount of plays, but when you drop down to the 6K, and for those of you at home, man, be careful if you're dropping into the 6K range. I would not recommend it.
And that's every week. That's not just this week. Every week is when it gets to that point, in my opinion, unless there's an absolute just great steal down at 6K.
Fair.
But yeah, you got any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Make sure you roster and bet on Sung Jae Im if you can. Like I said, man, I think this guy's gonna win. Other than that, yeah, like Warstrike said, like, comment, subscribe, let us know how we're doing. If you want to see anything else, I hope you guys are enjoying this as much as we are, because I'm having fun. I look forward to this every Tuesday night now, because
Yeah,
it's just something that I'm having fun with.
yeah.
And let us know about next week. Maybe we'll come out with like a couple additional videos just
Mhm.
because it's a major. So maybe we can
Mhm.
do like a betting video, and then maybe we could do a DraftKings pricing video.
Yeah,
Whatever you guys
if
want.
that's something you guys want, let us know. Whatever you guys want, whatever you guys ask for, we'll come calling. Just like this other day, I wanted to see
Oh,
if
yeah.
you guys wanted to bring him on again, and everybody said something. So I was like, talk to Greg here and was like, we have to do it again. So it's been a lot of fun this past week. Hopefully, we have the same success that we did last weekend. Um, I think we're going to do pretty good. I think we found some plays, even just looking here for people I wasn't even into myself until we were scrolling through, and then I
Oh,
found
yeah.
somebody interesting. So, but other than that, guys, I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Give it up one more time for Greg. I'm really proud of him this week. We had a lot of fun. So, but take care, guys. Good luck. Let us know how you do. See you later.
See ya.